His MVP. Goal swung, right field. Forget about it. Rangers strike first. Goes after the first one. Drills a high fly ball. Left center field. This game is tied. From Javier. Seager hits a high fly ball. Deep right field. A bomb into first. One swing. Drive. It's tied. Seager smashes the ball down line. Goodbye. Now Seager to right center field, way back there. Shot again. Corey Seager does it again. It's Rangers win the World Series. The Willie Mays Most Valuable Player Trophy presented by Chevrolet. Is there any doubt? Corey Seager.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you after a walk-off, literally walk-off loss to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Got to get that last bit in there. Oh boy, where to begin? Where to begin? Look, you're going to have to give me a little bit of grace. We are going on low battery right now. Just got back in town from San Diego. It was a great trip. Awesome trip for the family. Had a good time at the baseball games. I actually went Saturday and went Sunday night as well. Saturday was a much better game than Sunday. But on the way back home today, loved what I was hearing at first. I listened to the game on the radio, heard the radio call most of the way. Corey Seager gets the party started early. Thought that would really be all Jacob deGrom would need in this one. You give deGrom 2 runs. Thought we would be cooking with gas. deGrom uncharacteristically off today. I mean, look, I'm not going to go in on Jacob deGrom here. You would have loved for him to have been the guy that could really put out the fire and really ease some minds going into the rest of this road trip. You lose 2 out of 3 in San Diego. You've got your best 2 pitchers starting Monday and Tuesday. deGrom today, Evo tomorrow. You really felt like you were in line for a pretty easy first 2 series wins. That's why they say anything can happen in baseball, man. That's how baseball go. You got your best pitcher on the mound today in Jacob deGrom. You start out with a 2-0 lead. You spot deGrom 2 runs, and you're not able to get it done. Again, hard for me to go in on Jacob deGrom. Bro has been incredible. The streak of 2 earned runs or less in nearly 15 straight starts. Hard for me to go in on Jacob deGrom. It's just kind of a perfect example, and I'm going to get to all y'all's comments and questions in a second. We'll let this just be a big group therapy session. I've got several key points I want to make, but I think you guys are going to bring them out as the show goes along anyways. Rangers just have a hard time getting on the same page. What I mean by that is, if it's not the offense, it's the pitching. If it's not the pitching, it's the defense. It is very difficult for this team in 2025 to click on all cylinders in a given game and just have a complete game all around. I think that what we saw on Saturday night, the Padres game, was probably the closest thing you're going to get. 7-4, and even that Saturday win over the Padres was adventurous at times. I mean, you had bases loaded multiple times in that game by the Padres, and you made some big pitches to get out of some really sticky situations. It was nerve-wracking Saturday night at the ballpark. I was there, Petco Park, and it was dicey at times. I wouldn't even go as far as to say that Saturday was a complete win. I think Saturday you had great offense, and the pitching was actually a little bit off. The pitching played with fire way too much on Saturday, was able to get out without getting burned. This team has just had the hardest time putting together a complete performance. They either get really great pitching, terrible hitting, or you get really good hitting, and you get terrible pitching. I mean, it's vice versa. And forgive me if I said that wrong. Like I said, I just got back in town literally maybe an hour ago. And here we are trying to do a pod. So, look, the coffee is trying to kick in. Give me a little bit of grace. This team just cannot put together complete games in a row. And look, if you win a ball game 3-2, that can work, but I don't think it's sustainable. It's not sustainable. Puts way too much pressure on the pitching. The offense actually came through today. Maybe you could say they didn't deserve it. Jake Berger, he strikes out. It's a wild pitch. He manages to get down to first base, and Josh Smith, of course, comes through with the big hit. And see, we've had things like that happen, right? We've had the big hit happen. Think about against the Mariners, Corey Seager with the big blast to tie it in extra innings. Those are the moments where you think to yourself as a fan, we're going to see this team come through. When Corey Seager hits that 2-run bomb in extras to tie it against the Mariners, you're thinking, this is the moment where this team is galvanized and is going to turn this around. Okay, that falls flat. You go to the next night. Adolis Garcia hits a 3-run bomb to tie it in extras against Baltimore. And you're thinking to yourself, surely this is the moment. This is the moment. Adolis Garcia ties the game in extras, a 3-run bomb. This moment is going to galvanize this team. They lose. Josh Smith comes through with a clutch RBI double in the top of the 8th to tie it at 5. Surely the Rangers are going to take this ball game. And they just don't. That is what this team has done all year long. I think I've finally been able to put my finger on it. And they're just unable to get momentum. They have gained no momentum, even winning series. It feels like zero momentum able to be built with this team. The big moments don't lead to anything. The big wins, the big offensive days, just think about it. Hear me out for a second. The big offensive days, generally the next day leads to absolutely nothing. ZG, appreciate the gift, by the way, brother. You're awesome. It's just a team that is unable to cook with momentum. Any moment that this team has that you might think is going to turn it around never leads to anything. I mean, there's been a few win streaks on this club. There's been a few win streaks. I think they've won, maybe 6 in a row, 5 or 6 in a row here and there. The momentum just is not able to be built with this club. Any big moment you think is actually going to mean something never amounts to anything. That is, to me, one of the biggest issues with this team. And look, we had a lot of people, I saw it online, starting to go back to the Kevin Pillar comments. This team's been like that. We talked about this before I went out of town. This team has been individualistic for a while now. And it worked in 2023. It's easy to point at and say, yeah, it's not working in 2025. This team isn't doing a whole lot different than what they did in 23. Yes, you've got a few people removed. You don't have Nate Lowe anymore. You don't have Leclerc. You don't have Chapman. You don't have a number of guys from the 23 team. You don't have Garver. Look, I know I'm missing people, but again, forgive me, it's late. I know there's a few individuals missing, but there's a lot of core guys that are still there. So I don't think that the Pillar commentary is anything anybody needs to keep going back to. We all knew this is how this team was. But I will say this, the ho-hum, never get too high, never get too low, it's been this team's greatest strength, and it's been this team's greatest Achilles heel. They never get too high, they never get too low. You heard that so much in 23. They sucked it up in Seattle before the playoffs started in 23, and then they went on and Road Warriors won the whole dang thing, and all they just told you along the way was, yeah, we just go about our business. Corey Seager, so mild-mannered, one of my favorite Rangers of all time. Yeah, we just go about our business. I mean, that's my best Corey impression for you. I don't know how well I did, but that's all you get out of Corey and out of everybody. Yeah, we just take it one day at a time. That's all we're trying to do out here. Just one day at a time. One day at a time. That's all you hear from this club. It's literally all you hear. And so, again, I think it is the team's greatest strength, but in a weird way, it's also their Achilles heel. They get no fire lit under them when they're losing. When they're winning, it's, again, very just status quo, even keel. There's never really any crazy highs with this team, but it feels like the lows are pretty low this year. I'm not going to lie. But the worst you're going to get out of them is, tough loss. One day at a time. One day at a time. It is a really, really weird feeling. All right, y'all. You let me spit it out. I'm going to let y'all take over. It's a tough night. I'm going to tell y'all something that I told the Discord chat after I get to a few comments. All my people, by the way, hanging out, paid members and subscribers, just want to say a special thank you to you guys. Look, y'all are helping me keep it together. The group therapy sessions in the Discord. It's great, but I wish that it could be talking about wins instead of painful losses like this one. Let me keep going here. And by the way, if I missed your comment, please hit me back, all right? Look, Hobie Milner in that last at bat, I'm taking comments right now from YouTube. I'll go back and forth, TikTok, YouTube here. I got to say, Hobie Milner, I don't know what happened in that AB. He got Shonowell 0-2 and then just totally forgot how to throw a strike. I mean, I just don't understand what happened. It really reminded me of what Jack Leiter did last night, right? Leiter would get into so many 2-strike counts and just could not punch people out. And it kind of worked that way with Hobie there. It's a tough spot for Hobie. Like, I can hardly blame Hobie Milner. He's been nails all year, and Chris Martin got him into a mess. Martin came in, gave up a single, gave up a double, had a strikeout mixed in there, an intentional walk. I'm not going to blame Hobie. Again, just like deGrom, it's just hard. Hobie has gotten us out of so much stuff. I'm not going to lock in on one game. It sucks. I hate that Hobie walks in the game-winning run there. But it's just hard for me to just go crazy on him, man. It really is. It really is. We keep going. Oh, man. All right. It's just one of those games you got to catch your breath. Hayden, what's good? Do the Rangers need a vocal leader? I would say yes, they do. You thought maybe Jock was going to be that voice, even though he's coming in brand new and fresh. But with the injury, we talked about this with Scherzer last year. As big of a clubhouse leader as Scherzer might have been able to be, when you're hurt, it just doesn't hit the same. It doesn't. And when you're a new guy and you're hurt, it really doesn't hit the same. All right. We keep going. This is just a bad baseball team, Caden says. There's not much to it. I think this leads well into something that I told the Discord chat. Look, I have no desire, zero desire to give up on this team, to punt the season. Also, I could say that I was right. See, I told you they're an awful team. They suck in 3 weeks when they're sellers or whatever the case may be. I have zero desire to punt the season so that I can come back in 3 weeks and tell y'all, yeah, on July 7th, I told you guys that this team sucked and they needed to sell. I care zero about being right, about whether they're going to be buyers or sellers. And if you're a diehard fan of the club, that shouldn't matter to you either. If you love this team, who cares if you're right? On July 7th, whether or not the Rangers are sellers, this team still has a chance. They're not out of it. I'm going to continue to support the ball club. And there's really nothing else to it. There's nothing else to it. And so, again, anybody that's taking pride in being correct, I told you this team was awful, they should be hard sellers. I'm sorry. I'm not commiserating with you, and I won't be. When this team becomes a seller at the deadline, my tune will change, but I don't need to be right. I don't need to be right. Just like if they go on a 10-game win streak, you might hear me give it back a little bit. I told you not to give up on this team until the end whistle, until the final finish line, man, until the deadline. But you're definitely not going to have me on here trying to tell people to give up on the season. It just goes against everything that I've ever learned about the game, being a fan, being a teammate. Not going to do it. I will be with this team. I will stick with this team until they sell. And even when they sell, we'll see where they're at with the standings. And if they buy, we'll see what happens too. There's still a lot that can happen over the last 3 months of the season. You got July, August, September. You got almost 3 months of baseball left. Stop worrying so much about being right and just cheer this team on. I know it's hard. I'm not saying that it's easy to watch this team night in and night out find new ways to lose ball games. But I love this team. I'll always love this team. This was not a good night for Rangers baseball, but stop trying to be right. Yeah, this team isn't good right now. It's clear. They don't have it all together. Could they be good? Yes, they could be good. Do they have players that have the potential to be difference makers? Absolutely. Has it all gotten pieced together this year? No. Nobody is denying this team is not in a good place right now. Nobody's denying that. And look, ultramodern, I've used this language before. You can't put lipstick on a pig. You can't sugarcoat a turd. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. I'm not on here telling you guys, yeah, this is really a World Series champion team right now. They're just playing bad. Nobody's being disingenuous. What we are saying is there's still time. There's still time. If you want to be right that this team is going to be a seller at the deadline, you take it. And, have fun with that in 3 weeks. I take no joy in being right about bad things happening to this club. That's what some people get confused sometimes, right? Josh Young, for example. I put out a video 2 weeks ago. Said he needed to go to AAA. It happened. Have you heard me embellish the Josh Young demotion at all? Like that's my point to everybody that claps back at me when I get a little bit negative. Do you ever see me celebrating the negatives that happen to this club? Never. Why? Because I don't root for my team to fail. Can I be negative and be right 100%? Do I can slap my back and get pumped because I was right about somebody not doing well, somebody getting demoted, the team not being a playoff team? No, I don't take any joy in that, and I never will. And I hope y'all don't either. So if you got to be right on July 7th right now about this team, you take it. And you know what? Be the weird one that's celebrating the fact that you were right at the trade deadline. I'm not here for it. I'm not commiserating with it. I will be cheering on this team. I will be covering this team. I will be trying to give you my absolute best every night, regardless of what this team does. And if they do sell in 3 weeks, the narrative changes a little bit here on the show, right? That's how it goes. And then you start looking forward to 2026. But until that moment where it's clear, crystal clear, mathematically impossible, all that good stuff, I'm going to continue to cover this team like I've been doing it all season. All right. Soapbox done. We keep going. Look, anyone saying this man is a hater or negative is dead wrong. Thank you, Jack. Look, it is the opposite. I call it like it is. Tonight sucked. Like nobody's saying tonight was a really good game for Texas. Moral victories galore. No. We'll point out some positive performances. Josh Smith tying up the game. Freaking awesome, man. Been doing it all year. But no, you're not going to get me being crazy negative nonstop. There's plenty of that out there already about this Texas team. Yeah, again, Hobie Milner, Jack, I'm with you. Nobody needs to be getting on Hobie Milner. Bro's been nails all season long. Has had a couple of rough outings here and there. He came in with the bases loaded. Come on now. Caden, I'm with you. Best pitching in baseball. Best ERA in baseball. And you're multiple games under 500. Jacob, you're in a much better spot than the Rangers are right now, but I feel you. I'd love to be in the Dodgers position right now, that's for sure. Good to see you, my friend. We keep rolling. Let's see, what did I miss? Let me clean up a little bit here, y'all. Excuse me. Unfortunately, I think it's time to sell. Maybe. But let it play out. Doesn't do any good to, again, be right about the team selling. Just cheer them on. We'll see what happens. There was some frustration from Maddox after that walk in the dugout. Oh, yeah. Who knows? If anybody gets extra information, maybe it's just natural frustration walking in a run there. Maybe there was some kind of pitch sequencing they talked about and it didn't get followed. Who knows? 2 for 8 with runners in scoring positions, not terrible. It's not terrible, Caden. I've seen worse stat lines, that's for sure. Gio, Chris Martin, now 0-5. Look, when Martin comes in with the game tied, haven't we talked about this on the show? Like, Martin coming in with the game tied just never goes well. And I guess the 0-5 record really tells you all you need to know. I guess they need to stop pitching Chris Martin in 0-5 games. How high probability is it that Heim or Adolis is traded at the deadline? Well, look, if they're 5-6 games out, both of those guys are going to get traded. They should get traded. They should. Absolutely, those guys should get traded. I don't know what the probability is, but Dolly is almost certainly gone. And Jonah Heim, I would think they would be trying to shop him as well if they are going into hard sell mode. The Rangers aren't back at a home game, Jacob, until after All-Star. I think it's All-Star break and then first series back after the All-Star breaks at home. So, dude, you're looking at a week and a half? It's probably like a week from Friday that the next home game is, if I had to guess. So you got a while, my guy, unfortunately. All right, let me try and catch back up here a little bit. We keep going. Cripple King, I don't know about buying. I wonder if the Rangers maybe do some soft selling instead of like a hard sell or a fire sale, if you will. I wonder if the Rangers do some soft selling and just see what the team can do. They don't invest in the team per se. Maybe they sell a couple of pieces here and there, especially with John Gray coming back. Maybe you try and see what you could get for him. You've also got, some other guys coming on. Jacob Latz, he could be a guy that really slots into the rotation. And then you maybe get rid of a Patrick Corbin. There's a lot of different options. I think this team could soft sell and maybe still see what is out there in terms of wins, playing it out. I don't know. I don't know what the team strategy is going to be. The other thing we have to consider, too, there are 6 games left this week. 6 games left this week. This is one game. One game. There's 6 left this week. It's so easy to react strongly after these losses. Let's just see where they're at the end of this road trip. Right now, they're 1-3. We said before it would be nice to go 6-4. And you know what? 5-5, not ideal, but we'll take it. Right now, you can only lose 2 more games over the next 6 if you want to go 5-5 on this road trip. And look, 5-5, not ideal. 6-4 or better would have been ideal. Right now, if you want to go 7-3, you got to win the next 6. I don't think that's going to happen, although I would love it. But if you can just go 5-5 or 6-4, 6-4 is not going to be easy either. But 5-5, I think, is doable. I think you could win 4 of your next 6 games. I do. I think it's doable. You're going to see deGrom again. You're going to see Evo again this week. At least you should. It should be deGrom on Saturday, Evo on Sunday. Should be, unless they're pushing those guys back again. So with that, you've got a shot. If you throw deGrom Saturday in Houston, Evo Sunday in Houston to close out the first half, I still like the chances. Let's see what the Rangers do over the next 3 games. If they can win the next 3 against the Angels and go to Houston, pretty much what at that point you would be 4-3 on the homestand going into Houston. That feels good. That feels good to me. So let's just see how it plays out. It's easy to go sky is falling right now, but let's see how it plays. Ash, thank you. Appreciate that, buddy. Jacob, what's good, my guy? Thanks for hanging out. Man, look, we can commiserate together, Dodgers and Rangers. That's for sure. Keep going. Oh, we got some Stros fans going back and forth in the chat. That's always a joy. Always a joy. Orlando, what's good, my guy? Julio, no. I think the Rangers have really good, pretty solid relief pitchers. Nobody that's like big household name. But again, the Rangers have one of the better bullpens in baseball. I mean, the numbers don't lie. So I don't think that there's frustration at all that Maddox doesn't have guys that can go out there and get outs. I think it's just frustrating. The bullpen is overused. The team plays way too many close games. Way too many close games. The bullpen gets overused, and the margin for error is so thin. I just think it's natural frustration. I don't think it's necessarily pinpointed. I think it just boils over. I mean, you constantly have to be in a bullpen, 7th, 8th, 9th inning game, and you have to throw your best guys out there. There's just no margin for error with this offense. Look, the offense scored 5 runs tonight. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. The pitching was not perfect tonight either. I think this is just one of those tough luck games where, again, it just doesn't all come together. But I do feel like the Rangers have a lot of talent on the pitching side, and it just continues to feel incredibly wasteful that this offense cannot consistently night after night score runs. They did tonight, and it still didn't end up going well. And as I said to begin the show, that's kind of been the Rangers' MO. You can't have a complete game. You can't put it all together. Keep going. Appreciate all y'all hanging out. If I missed your comment on TikTok, definitely drop it back in. We'll try to get to it. Berger struck out 3 times. Berger has not looked good. I think we can all kind of agree with that. Berger has just not looked great since he came back. He's had a couple of hits here and there. I think that Berger is probably going to finish out the year with Texas. I do kind of wonder into the offseason, especially with what I would say almost 100% certainty, there's going to be some position shakeups next year, regardless of how this year goes. There's going to be some position shakeups. So with that being said, I absolutely am just really, really curious. Berger, is he a guy that maybe you think about dealing? Is Berger a guy that you think about moving on from if he does not have a strong end of the 2025 campaign? I think that it would be very disappointing for them to have to move on from a guy that they just went out and acquired in the last offseason. But with that being said, I don't know how long you can wait on a guy like Berger when you're really trying to be in win now mode. Can't sell Berger low? Maybe not. Maybe not. And I think you do hope that Berger shows some promise. But where's the 30 home run guy, man? I know he's been hurt a little bit. Where's the 30 bomb guy? Like, that guy has got to show up. If the 30 bomb guy doesn't show up, he's just not worth it, man. That's what you got him for. You got him for the pop. And look, Kyle Higashioka, glad that he had the 5 RBI game on Saturday. It was fun to watch live. That's another dude. You got him for the pop. Unlike what some Rangers fans will tell you, no. We did not just acquire Kyle Higashioka because he calls a good game behind the plate. The reason you had to pay $6.5 million for Kyle Higashioka is because he had 17 home runs last year. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I mean, I know some fans will explain away anything, but I mean, they're paying Kyle to hit home runs, man. That was what his second home run of the year, and we're at July 7th. He could absolutely come on strong, but the Rangers just have a lot of guys that they went out and got for the purposes of power, driving the baseball, and it just hasn't happened consistently, man. Just hasn't happened. I was actually just out in California myself, man. I'm sorry you had to watch the L tonight. I was out watching the Padres games. I went 1-1 Saturday. We got the win, 7-4. Sunday was not so good. I'm sorry, my guy. Wyatt has not looked great. I think Wyatt has definitely been up and down this year. Such a hot start. Kind of dealt with some injury stuff up in Oakland or whatever it was. I don't know. That Oakland series felt like kind of a switch flip for Wyatt. April was great. Half of May was great. And ever since that Oakland series, actually, that was like late April. Now, let's be fair. That was like late April. So for about the first month of the season, it was great. Feels like he's really struggled to find his footing since then. Made some great defensive plays out there in left field on Saturday night when I was there. 2 of those sliding catches. We were actually in left field watching Wyatt's view. Beautiful to watch. He is very, very much improved, I think, as an outfielder. I thought he was a little raw rookie year last year. Feel like he's really taken it up a notch in 2025. You just absolutely would love for the bat to follow. And so far, he just has not been able to put it together consistently. Jack, I do think if we sell, pitchers will be going. I think Corbin, I think some of the bullpen guys, there will be some guys going. Absolutely. Here's one other thing, too. Some of y'all have been asking about Walcott. I don't think it would be a very smart idea at all. I think the Rangers would actually be crazy to bring up Walcott this year. And hear me out on this one. I know everybody wants to see Walcott. If Walcott is as good as advertised, do you really want to start his clock in a losing season? Right? You get 6 years with these guys once you start their clock. Do you really want, in a losing year, to start Sebastian Walcott's clock? Or do you just want him to come up fresh in 2026 and have a shot to be the opening day right fielder, the opening day third baseman? By the way, anybody thinking Corey Seager is moving away from shortstop, I mean, maybe you'll get lucky with it. I don't know. I just cannot see Corey Seager moving off of shortstop for an unproven prospect. I just don't think that's happening. And I see that get thrown out way too much online. Like Corey Seager's moving next year. They're going to go ahead and bump Walcott right into that spot. Corey Seager is an above average defender. I mean, we're going advanced stats here. Bro's an above average defender, and he's probably still your best hitter and your franchise cornerstone. You're not moving that dude flippantly for an unproven prospect. As good as he's been down in the minors, hasn't done a thing at the major league level. You're just not going to see them move Corey Seager off the shortstop until probably he is 100% ready to do so. I think that it's much more likely that Walcott goes to right field when they get rid of Adolis. I could see him potentially slotting at third base depending on what Josh Young does. I do think that that's a possibility. But anybody that's saying bring up Walcott, or when you sell or when you finally are out of it, bring up Walcott. I don't want to see Walcott this year at all. I want Walcott in a Rangers uniform for meaningful innings. Let him go to spring training next year. Give him an opportunity to make the roster. I'm just not a big fan of starting the Walcott clock any sooner than you have to. If you start the Walcott clock, I want it to be fresh start, vibes high, beginning of the year. I don't want Walcott to come on this team just like, hitting, they say, is contagious. I don't want Walcott to get affected negatively by all of the bad vibes that this team gives off in 2025 offensively, man. I just don't. I want Walcott starting fresh with vibes up, way up, spring training, hope springs eternal. I want him to wait to get that call until next year. Unless there's like a catastrophic injury and the Rangers literally have nobody else. Okay, maybe. And clearly I don't want that to happen. Let me see here. Jack says, metrics aside, Seager passes the eye test at short. Great defender. Yeah, look, a lot of people sleep on Corey Seager's defense. A lot of people do. And I think that at this point, the advanced stats, eye tests combined, I think you say, dude's still got a few more good years. Walcott's probably not taking that spot from one of the most legendary Texas Rangers of all time. He's just not. Yeah, I want him. It's actually one of probably my favorite points in the whole Walcott debate. Do you really want him coming up and being around a team offensively like this, struggling so much? I know baseball's an individual sport, but if you're going to sit there and say hitting's contagious, logically, don't you have to go the opposite way with that? Being really bad at hitting is also contagious? I don't know. All right, we keep going. A lot of people are asking me about Maddox. And I'll be honest with you. I was listening on the radio. The radio guys did not go in hard. I watched, if the moment got big, I got on my phone, looked at the MLB app, watched on MLB TV. But like I said, road tripping, listened to the entire game on the radio basically, and then caught a few highlight reel, replays here and there. So I didn't really see the interaction. Has anybody heard anything else on the Maddox situation? I gotta just think it's frustrating when you lose a game walking off. You give the team the free pass to end the game. I mean, I think that probably is it more than anything else. I mean, yeah, Killer B, exactly. I mean, I don't mean to at all be sarcastic or anything like that, but I'm sure it did have something to do with the fact that the Rangers gave a free pass to end the game. I do think frustration will start to boil over somewhat. And it will in games like this where the bullpen has just been so heavily dependent on. We have played so many close games. It's ridiculous. Probably one of the most overused bullpens in baseball. So I struggle to empathize with people that are getting on the bullpen. This bullpen is overworked, overused, overcooked, man. They just are. The Rangers cannot have any margin in some of these games. It's always got to be a 4-3, 5-4, 6-5 ball game, super close, and it just hasn't happened. Natalie, I'm with you. We need somebody that can be a little bit loud, boisterous. Maybe Jock Peterson comes back and he gives you something special like that. That would be phenomenal. I can't say I'm holding my breath on Jock Peterson, but I'm cautiously optimistic. That's a phrase I love to use here on the show. I'm cautiously optimistic that he comes back, hits the ball hard, and starts living up somewhat to what we signed him for back in February, January, December, whenever the heck it was, for a $37.5 million contract. Yeah, Jack, like I said, this is well put. When you're bad, when you're not going well, and when you're hurt, any potential leadership that you could offer kind of goes out the window. You know, I mean, look, I know Jock wasn't in a wheelchair, but, you know, when you're sitting in, you know, when you're sitting on your crutches, when you're sitting on the little bike scooter because you're hurt, when you've got the big old cast on your hand, it just doesn't hit the same, right? It just doesn't hit the same. Like, seriously. I mean, that's what it was with Max Scherzer, man. I mean, Max was a gamer, competitive, fiery guy. But, like, dude, when you're hurt and when you're not playing super great, it just doesn't hit. It really doesn't. Yeah, I'm with you, Brian. I'm with you. Jock needs to show us something down the stretch here. He really does. Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate it, Shelby. Thanks for hanging out. Look, I wish it could be under better circumstances. I really do. All y'all that have followed, by the way, I know I probably missed you, but thank you to all the new followers on the show today. I think we've had a few. Means a lot. Thank you so much. We wish that it could be better tonight, that you're joining. Wish the vibes were a little higher, but they're not. It is what it is. This is part of being a fan, man. It's part of being a diehard fan. You take the awesome wins with the bad L's, and this was a bad L tonight. Really was. Rangers buyers or sellers? I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that's the age-old question. And Rohan, I appreciate seeing you, buddy. Appreciate the comment. I just don't know. And like I said, those of y'all that came in a little late, I got on my soapbox. Look, I don't want to be right or wrong about buyers, seller. Look, if I had to tell you right now, I don't think the Rangers are probably going to be buying a whole lot at the deadline. My gut tells me they do some soft selling. Maybe they try to acquire kind of like a below-the-radar arm just to give you a little bit more depth. I don't think they're doing any kind of big-time buying. I really don't. I just don't think that this team has shown you enough. We've gone through April. We've gone through May. We've gone through June. And this team just still hasn't consistently gotten it together. I find it really hard to believe that CY goes out and does a ton of buying. I really do. I really do. Yeah, I mean, and that is the point. That is the point. Jack, it's a great point. I know you guys can't see the YouTube comments on TikTok, but the point is you'd really have to do this crazy overhaul. And I was talking about this in the Discord today. The problem that the Rangers have is you got all these position players that are too promising to let go of. But what you really need is better position player play. Right? So, like, think about it this way. Like Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford, are they producing at super high levels? No, they're not. But they're too promising to let go of. So you can't get rid of Carter or Langford. And I know that's an extreme example. But when you even think about guys like Jake Berger, I mean, Berger is probably the opposite example, right? But the point remains. Young, controllable. There's a lot of promise with Berger. And so you really have to balance giving up on a guy too soon with going and getting somebody that's better and going to produce more than what you've currently got. Like, the Rangers are just in a really tough spot at some positions. Here are the positions, though, that the Rangers could absolutely stand to upgrade. Catcher. Catcher is a big one. You could definitely upgrade catcher. First base, I do think, is an upgrade. And I think third base you could throw in the mix, too. Now, before you crucify me, I know we got Josh H. Smith. I kind of prefer Josh Smith in the Swiss Army role. I don't know what you guys feel. I mean, I know some people are ready to give him the keys to third base. And if the Rangers did that, no complaints. I probably prefer Josh Smith to be in that Swiss Army knife role. He can play anywhere. He's not necessarily a set third baseman. I'd like to see them make him super utility guy. And then what you've got is third base open, first base open. And then I think you're going to have to do something with right field. I know Adolis has had some good weeks here of late, but I think you've got to do something with right field. To me, those are the four positions that the Rangers should overhaul going into 2026. New right fielder, maybe it's Osuna, maybe it's Walcott, maybe it's an outside guy. Third base, Josh Young, I'm not giving up on him, but I think you got to open up the competition a little bit. I think you've got to open up the competition. I don't think Josh Young needs to have that spot locked down for all eternity. If you go out and you get somebody else, look, here's the comp, and this isn't even on the same level. If the Red Sox can go out and get Alex Bregman when they had Rafael Devers, I think the Rangers can go out and improve third base while they have Josh Young. Like seriously, I think that we have to take some of these Rangers players off the pedestal. We love them, but if the Red Sox can go get Bregman when they've got one of the best hitters in the game in Rafael Devers, I think we can potentially go out and upgrade third base while still having Josh Young. And the same can be said about a number of other spots. So again, catcher, first base, third base, right field. Langford, Carter, I just don't think the org is going to give up on them anytime soon. And I'm not saying that they should, but I don't see them moving on from Langford or Carter anytime soon. Semien and Seager are pretty much set. And look, DH and all the other positions, you've got some wiggle room. They don't grow on trees, but you've got to at least open up the options. Somebody said on TikTok, abandoned ship, appreciate you, bud. Thank you. I get it. Third basemen, they don't grow on trees, really good ones. But I think you could make the argument, Walcott, could you give him an opportunity to beat out Josh Young in spring training next year? Yeah, you could. There's no reason to not give Walcott an opportunity to win third base. You've also got Josh Smith. I would prefer to make him super utility guy, but Josh Smith is another guy. I think the Rangers absolutely need to overhaul about 4 or 5 different positions in the starting 9 next year. Really, Langford, Carter, Semien, Seager, about the only guys that need to absolutely stick. I don't know. Maybe you guys let me know if I'm way off base. Who else deserves a position spot locked down for 2026? And maybe some people would argue that even some of the guys I named don't. But I just think if you think about it from a front office perspective, the only guys that you should really be considering untouchable, Langford, Carter, Semien, Seager. Smith for sure, but I guess it's hard for me to put my finger on Smith. I think Smith definitely has a spot. But he just rotates everywhere. So I'm not trying to leave Josh Smith off the list. I think he's definitely a part of maybe that core 5, if you will. I just don't know if you give Josh Smith a set position. I guess that's why I didn't mention him initially. I don't think you probably want to nail down a position there, man. But we'll see. We'll see what they decide to do with him. Clearly, he's going to be a part of the plans. I think you can move him around a lot of different places, though, and I think that's probably where most of the value with him is going to lie. You want the bat in the lineup. You want to give guys flexibility with off days, and you want to move him around. Tough loss today for sure. Is it time for a Bombi trade? Yeah, I think that they are probably talking Bombi trades at this point. Will they maybe consider holding off and doing it in the offseason? Possibly. I think I already kind of did it, right? Josh Young, there's definitely some upgrades over Josh Young. We have some within the organization. I think that Josh Smith could definitely be an upgrade over Josh Young. I think, in fact, right now, Josh Smith has been an upgrade at third base over Josh Young. I think that Josh Young's defense has been solid. I don't think it's elite. I think it's solid. And I think Josh Smith plays just as good of a third base as Josh Young does. I don't think you lose a whole lot with Josh Smith at third base. And we can agree to disagree. I don't think you lose a whole lot going from Young to Smith. In fact, I threw it out there. I think you might actually have a better glove in Josh Smith than you do with Josh Young. I like the way Josh Smith plays third base. I like it a lot. If you watch the game on Saturday, I think it's hard to disagree with me. So Josh Smith, I think automatically right there, you can talk upgrades. Walcott. I think you genuinely give Walcott an opportunity in spring training next year to beat out some of the guys that are on the roster. Josh Young does not need to be on a pedestal. He is not some untouchable in the organization. Is he really good and promising? Yes, I think he has the potential. Do you need to give him third base and never look back? No. No. I would kind of push back on this as well. I don't think that Josh Smith is incapable of playing one position and hitting really well. The comment was Josh Smith excels as a utility player. Let him be that guy. I don't necessarily think that that's accurate either. I think that he is a really good baseball player. Now, is he more valuable to your team as a utility guy? Sure. But is he like incapable of playing one position and hitting well? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think he's more valuable as a utility guy. But to say that he's not going to be as good of a player if you just put him in one spot, I don't know if I agree with that. We'll see. Kenny, yeah, look, Adolis isn't going to be around, so I don't see him even being on the roster in 2026. I think they're going to deal him at the deadline or in the offseason. But you got Walcott as a right field contender. You got Osuna as a right fielder contender. And you've got a couple other guys, too. Clearly, Josh Smith could go play outfield if you really needed it. There's Kyle Tucker, free agent, baby. I'm not giving up on Tuck. I'm really not. There is an opportunity there for Kyle Tucker to come be the Texas Rangers right fielder in 2026. I'm not giving up hope. But maybe Walcott would be better in that right field spot. He has been playing some outfield down in the minors. It's all going to depend on Josh Young. How does he look down in AAA? How does he look? Is he coming back with a vengeance? Is he kind of kicking the can down the road, down at Round Rock? A lot's going to depend on how he does in this minor league stint. Do I think the Rangers have a shot to make the postseason? I don't think that it's long gone, like miracle to happen. Rangers right now, I mean, you look at the standings, it's I think at 5 games. Actually, it's 4.5. The Rangers are 4.5 games out of a playoff spot. Like, that's not insurmountable at this point. You've got, obviously, about 70 games left? It's not impossible to come back from a 4.5 game deficit. But it's getting down to crunch time now. With the deadline coming up, the All-Star break, you got to start putting together some wins. Could you absolutely still make the playoffs? Yes, 100%. Are you getting down to the nitty-gritty? Yes. The Rangers have got to start putting together some runs. Absolutely. We keep going. Let me see. What do we got here? Do any potential replacements have a nickname as cool as the Jungle Cat? Look, I love Josh Young. I mean, on YouTube, y'all see the bobblehead over here. I'm a big Josh Young fan. I really am. Do I hope he becomes franchise cornerstone and takes the mantle from Seager? Absolutely. But am I going to be real about the current state of Josh Young and where things are at? Yeah. I mean, a guy that's getting demoted to AAA, say whatever you want. A guy that was playing bad enough to get demoted to AAA is not an untouchable. Not a guy that you need to be gift wrapping a starting spot to for 2026 without any competition. We'll see what happens. Rangers scored first in all 6 games in July. But Rangers' record is only 3-3. You score first, you usually end up winning a lot of ball games. Yeah, look, Pastor, that's my only thing, man. Because if you bring up Walcott this year, you start the clock, it's a losing season. I don't want to waste any control. Let me get the nonsense out of the chat, y'all. Sorry about that. I don't want to waste years of control in a losing season. I mean, so I know some people make the argument, well, you're getting him reps. Yeah, you're also wasting years of control of Sebastian Walcott. I don't want to do that. I want to have him come up in a fresh year, 2026, spring training, give him an opportunity to make the roster. I don't think there's any reason to start the clock in August or September and waste time with him. Okay, we keep going. Who's locked cornerstones? Well, right now, I think obviously it's Seager and Simeon as the vets, and then it's Carter and it's Langford and it's Josh Smith. I think those guys right now have probably solidified themselves as somewhat untouchable. Not to say that you're not taking phone calls on any of them. If somebody wants to give you some crazy, stupid, good deal for you, you got to listen. But I think those guys moving forward, I think the Rangers look at those 5 and say, yeah, these are the guys that are kind of the staples, and now we've got to fill it out around them. Jake Berger, yeah, Zach, he's been bad. We kind of said with Berger, could you move on from him potentially in the offseason? Maybe. You kind of hope that Berger starts playing well and maybe gets back to an average place of production. If he has a terrible ending to this 2025 season, there's really not a lot of value in Jake Berger. You might get something for him, but you want him to finish this year on a positive note. You really do. I'm going to try and look at Jake Berger. What are the options left on him, if any? He might only have like one option left, man. I don't think it's a ton. He's got one option left. So you could, if it got really bad, you could option Jake Berger one more time. If it got really bad. And you could have him light it up down in AAA, and then you only bring him back when you think he's coming up for good. So there is the opportunity to option Jake Berger. We'll see if they decide to do it or not. Does it seem like the offense has been better over the last few weeks, but the bullpen has been giving them more runs? No, it doesn't feel that way to me, actually. Maybe I'm wrong, but it kind of feels like we get like a really good offensive performance, but then after that, it just gets followed up by something bad. So we've got like these big offensive games like Saturday night sticking out in our minds. But then, we all saw what they did the very next night. Let me see what the schedule has been like. Okay, so we scored 2 runs on Friday night, 7 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. So, look, you scored 2 runs or less in 2 out of 3 games over the weekend. Against the Orioles, they did do well against the Orioles, scored a lot of runs. So, look, that was a great series for the offense, no doubt. You did get blanked. Let's see. Against the Orioles, you got blanked once. You got shut out on Monday, the 23rd. The Mariners, they scored, 13 runs in 3 games against the Mariners. Against the Pirates, they scored 12 runs in 3 games. Against the Royals, and this was the last 2-week stint, right? And we're even getting out to about 2.5 weeks here. They scored 5 runs in the Royals series. I don't know. I think the offense has still been pretty bad. Is Pete Alonso available? I don't know if the Mets are trading him. His contract is pretty short, though, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's a pretty short contract for him. So I don't know what they're going to do with Pete Alonso. Not 100% sure on that one. All right. Let's start wrapping things up here a little bit. What do I think of the camaraderie of the team? They look lifeless. I just think this has always been how this team appears. You had a few guys that got locked in on in the 2023 year. They were always showing Austin Hedges, right? Hedgie was the big guy. They would always show Austin Hedges. And I honestly think just Hedgie made up for a lot. I think he really did, because anytime they would show the dugout, you'd see Austin Hedges hyping up somebody. I think Austin Hedges covered a multitude of sins, if you will. Like, without him in 23, I don't think it feels like the clubhouse was super, positive, lit, camaraderie. I feel like there were a couple of guys on that 23 team that really made up for a lot of the same of what we're seeing right now in 25. I think you have a lot of the same guys. You have a lot of kind of quiet, go about your business type guys. And then you had Nate Lowe and Hedges, and, you had a couple other dudes in the mix that really made it seem a little bit more lit than what it really was. That's my takeaway from 23 to now. You had a couple of guys that were kind of the figureheads of the camaraderie in 23. They're not here anymore. You've got a lot of the same guys from 23 still. I just think that they made up for it a lot more than what we thought. I think this team has been doing the same things for the past few years. In 23, it all came together, and they were winning ball games, so it didn't matter. Who cared if they didn't see each other much pregame and they were all doing their own individual things? They were winning games, right? So I think obviously losing sheds light on a lot. It's easy to pick at the low-hanging fruit, but I really think this has always been how this team has operated. You just had a couple of really good clubhouse guys in 23 that got a lot of the spotlight, Austin Hedges being the primary, and it just made it feel like the team was a lot more camaraderie-esque, whatever you want to call it. We keep going. Crash, appreciate the comment. We love the Rangers here too. We love them here too. What did we sacrifice 2 years ago? I don't know, man. Tonight's loss, it sucked, Zach. It sucked. But you know what? We're trying to get over it. I'm starting to feel slightly better after talking it out with you guys. We're going to go through the game tonight quickly, and then we're going to get into tomorrow's game. Here was the bright spot for me. I mean, you had Sam Haggerty and Corey Seager going a combined 4 for 9 tonight. I mean, you had energy up at the top of the order, and that was a big reason why the Rangers were able to string together some early runs in this one. You had a lot of offers, though, throughout. You had, Zeke Duran going 0 for 2. You had Hellman going 0 for. Evan Carter followed up by going 0 for. Langford was 0 for 4 from the 5-hole. Adolis Garcia did have one hit and an RBI. Simeon went 0 for 4. So you had some bright spots in the lineup tonight. Corey Seager, Haggerty. Jonah Heim went 2 for 3. Good to see that. But you just had too many offers in other areas. And look, 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position, but you left 7 on base. You left a lot on the table still in this game. 8 strikeouts, not terrible. Not terrible. Pitching-wise, Armstrong, he has been another guy that's been so good, and I hate to get on Armstrong. 3.52 ERA now after giving up 2 earned runs tonight. What was painful about Armstrong was he got out to 2 quick outs, and then everything that went wrong for Sean Armstrong happened with 2 outs. Most frustrating thing ever. Garcia, by the way, look, over his last 15 games, it's still not looking very good for Adolis. Over the last 2 weeks, 190, hitting 190 with a sub-500 OPS. So, I mean, let's inject some truth serum about Adolis. Over the last 7 games, it's been a little better. The OPS is still below 700. He is hitting 281. But the numbers still aren't great for Adolis, for a guy that's hitting in the heart of your order. And right now, again, hitting under 700 OPS-wise for his last 7 games, hitting under 500 OPS-wise for his last 15 games. Just not great for a number 4 or 5 hitter. Really not great. We keep going. Yeah, I think that the stats... ultimate truth serum sometimes. You know what? They don't lie. Sometimes with guys that are getting unlucky, you can make an argument, but Look, Adolis last 2 weeks, last 15 games, sub 500 OPS, sub 200 average. Not great. Zach Bochy uses the same 2 to 3 guys out of the pen every night. Armstrong, Milner, Garcia, Gast. Throw in Martin, too. Martin's been used a lot. I kind of go back to the offense, though. I continue to go back to them. The reason why we have to use these guys night after night is because we're playing all these daggum close games, man. If we could just get out of this rut of having to play all these games close, it would go a long way. They need a new band. Maybe they just need to bring back Creed louder than ever, man. Yeah, Heaney might be in that mix as well. Seriously. Heaney's going to be on the block at the deadline. Maybe we need to go back out and get him. I did think we were done with the offensive black holes as well, Brian, but they're back in action, I guess. Look, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You had 6 offers tonight. I mean, I included some subs in there too, but tough, man. Tough. And who'd have thought Jacob Webb would be the shining star out of the bullpen? The guy I probably feel the most uneasy about. Jacob Webb comes in and throws a scoreless inning, a scoreless 7th inning, I believe. Yeah, Martin, wheel spot fell off for him. I just think some of these guys are just way too overused. Way too overused. 2023... I don't want to say fluke year. Baseball's tough. Look, I'm never going to say 2023 was a fluke. You could say that about so many teams. You could say that about so many teams that won a World Series and didn't get back the next year. I would submit it's less fluke, more. Baseball's really hard to repeat. It's why you haven't seen a team repeat very often in the sport. It's hard. Baseball is a tough game, man. You can have a really good year one year, not be good the next year. It happens. It happens. So, look, 23 was a special year. Everything came together. It happens for a lot of clubs that win World Series. If so, who can we get as a skipper? Well, I think Skip Schumacher is kind of coach in waiting at this point. I think he's kind of the coach in waiting. So we'll see what happens with Boch at the end of this year. I'll be curious. Dodgers are about to repeat, maybe. Killer Bee, that could be. But I don't know. If they do, I'll be very impressed. But the Dodgers, they don't look invincible right now. There's a lot of good baseball teams out there. We'll see what happens. Spencer, appreciate the follow, man. Thank you so much. Do I think Bochy comes back, Zach? If I had to say right now, probably no. Probably no. Boch is getting up there, though. I don't know if Boch will come back unless there's a deep run in October. I do kind of think that CY has too much respect for Boch. Like, if Boch was adamant, I want to come back for 26, I think they would give him an opportunity. But I think that if it were any other manager, and I've said this before, they're probably not surviving these 2 seasons after winning the World Series. Yeah, Brian, it's well said, man. I don't think that winning all 11 of your road games is a fluke. Again, baseball's a tough sport from year to year, man. Things change, they turn over. And yeah, you do have guys that have really good years and then they regress or they don't have as good of a year the next year. You could say that about a lot of teams that haven't repeated after winning a World Series. We would have a lot of fluke teams if we went back through the course of history, through the game, and nailed down all the teams that didn't win a World Series in their follow-up year and maybe even had not great season as a whole. I think that it would be more than what you think. We keep going. Rangers are 11-0 and they score 7+ in a game this year. So now 7 is the new magic number. I thought we were at 4. It was 4 the magic number. Now we're bumping it up to 7. Oh, my goodness, y'all. My goodness. It is a little crazy that they demoted Young, but at the same time, he wasn't playing well, and he had 3 options left. Now he's got 2. I think it was the right thing to do. Who do I want to see take the next leap on the Rangers? I would love for Wyatt Langford to become the guy that we all thought he was going to be, like the guy that was going to maybe be 30-30 guy, 30 homers, 30 steals, join that club, at least be 25-25. I would love to see Wyatt Langford take his game to the next level. In fact, I think if he were to do that, you would see this team play a lot better. If they could get Wyatt Langford, and I'll throw in Evan Carter too, if those two guys could really start playing well, I think it would make a big difference on this offense. Evan Carter's had his moments. Wyatt Langford's had his moments. They've given Rangers fans a taste. I would love to see Carter and Langford get consistent. I think it would make a big difference. Look, I'm a fan of Haggerty. JBJ, I'm a Haggerty fan. I think they need to continue to keep Haggerty in the lineup as much as they possibly can. They'll probably stick to what they're doing, only playing against lefties, but look, I don't know. Rangers have never lost when outscoring the other team. Jack with the gold comment of the night. Not to mention the guys we lost from the team, maybe not flashy guys. Yeah, look, chemistry plays a part in winning a World Series. It really does. Look, Nate Lowe, I do think was a big clubhouse guy. I don't necessarily think Nate Lowe on the field was an irreplaceable dude, but I do think that in the clubhouse, it meant something. I think it meant something for sure. Appreciate the follow, man. Thank you so much. I see a couple people have followed. Thank you. I'd rather lose to the Rangers than the Astros. Respect for sure. Evan Carter, he does have a lot to prove, I think. A lot of people are beginning to see him as kind of a one-hit wonder. I think that he still has the potential to be very good. Clearly has had some bad breaks in his development, the back injuries, things of that nature. I think getting platooned in the way that they have just not even allowed him really to even have a chance at developing against lefties. I think it all plays in. I would love to see them take the training wheels off Evan Carter and just let him be an everyday player. I think it's really hard for some guys coming up in the organization that have played every day. Evan Carter played every day when he was coming up with AA and AAA. Bro played every day. And then you get him up to the big leagues and you start sitting him every third or fourth day against the lefty. I just think it messes with you. Do I think Garcia ends the season on the Rangers? It's possible. Aaron, go Cowboys for sure. Cowboys fan, but an Angels fan. Interesting, man. Hey, come back in the fall. I do a bunch of Cowboys coverage. So hit that follow, man. Come back for Cowboys. We'll get started up, probably August when preseason starts. But Aaron, thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate you. Let me keep going here. Are Astros the best in the league? It's hard to argue with what they just did to the Dodgers. Like, I don't like the Astros, but I can be real about them. Yeah, I think it's a pretty tough thing to say that they're not the best team in the league. I know some people are trying to say the Tigers. I got to be honest. Maybe I'm just not respecting the Tigers enough, but when we played them, I didn't feel like they were this unstoppable juggernaut. I mean, y'all be real. When we played the Tigers, did you really feel like, man, this team is unbeatable? This team is like going all the way and they're going to win the World Series. I personally didn't get that feeling. I didn't get that vibe when we played the Tigers. I kind of thought to myself, we can beat this team. I don't know. So for me, I'm not really on the Tigers bandwagon. I would say probably Astros in the AL. Best team in the AL right now. It's hard to say that, but look, objectively, I think it's hard to deny. I really do. Enough about the Astros, though. Oh, Aaron, got you, man. Got you. Very cool. Very, very cool. Hey, we got the first Cal Raleigh comp. There you go. Wouldn't be a show without the Cal Raleigh comp. Tyson, what's good, man? Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, look, the NL is a lot tighter. I think that the AL, though, I've got to give it to the Stros. Never understood the hype behind Tavares. Yeah, there was, we were kind of joking. There was, I think it was McJowers. I don't think he's hanging out tonight, but McJowers was saying he came across basically an old post of Leote, one of the Texas Rangers account, not the official account, but basically was like Leote is going to haunt Texas as a Seattle Mariner. And like, anybody that watched Leote all season, and God bless Leote, we're not trying to dump on him, but anybody that watched Leote all season did not think anything pointed to him going to Seattle and having some kind of breakout year. Who do I think ends up in the wild card from the AL? I hope it's the Rangers. Clearly, they're not playing very great right now. Red Sox are making a little push here. I think it's probably going to end up, if I had to say it right now, I'm going to go Yankees. I'm going to go Red Sox. And it's going to be an AL West team for that third spot. I don't think the Rays are going to hang around. I think that they'll fade. The Rays have a lot of away games coming up. They had a lot of home games in the first half. They have a ton of away games coming up. I think the Rays probably fade a little bit. So I think it's going to be Yankees, Red Sox. I think it's going to be 3 AL East teams. And then I think that last spot is going to go to an AL West team. Whether it's the Mariners, whether it's the Rangers, the Angels, I think it's going to be one West team getting that last spot. Angels have a chance. I don't think the Angels have zero chance. I will say this about the Angels. A little unprecedented when you look at their run differential. I mean, the Angels have a negative 50 run differential. And I'm not trying to hate on the Angels here, but I can't say that I've seen a team with that bad of a run differential end up being a playoff team at the end of everything. So I would say the Angels, they probably need to get a little bit more consistency before you really buy them. They are 4-6 over their last 10. Look, in Texas, I'm not saying Texas has this clear and above way better shot. Texas does have better pitching than LA, much better pitching than the Angels do. But the Angels have some nice pieces. I've said it for a long time. I think they're a scrappy team that definitely has put together some nice wins and nice stretches of wins. But it's like when they lose, they lose. Like when the Angels drop a ball game, it feels like they're getting smoked. So I just feel like the Angels need to get a little more consistency before you take them seriously. I mean, it's like it feels like you're either winning a game or they're getting blown out. And we'll see what happens in this series. So definitely the Angels have a shot. Clearly, they're 4 games out of a playoff spot. It's not insurmountable odds by any means. What do I see the Rangers doing at the deadline? I think it's going to be very dependent what happens in the next 6 games. If the Rangers can reel off some wins this week, I think it's going to potentially be a really, really close call over the next 2 weeks coming out of the All-Star break. If I had to guess, I don't think the Rangers are going to be doing any kind of crazy buying. I'd be really surprised. Really, really surprised. We keep going here. Being careful with Carter and his back issues. Yeah, I think that's what they're doing right now. But yes, I'm with you. I wish they would stop sitting him. 100%. If the Angels don't make the playoffs, does Mike Trout get dealt? I think it all depends on Trout. Trout has had opportunities to leave and he continues to want to stay. If that's your thing, bro, you do you. But I don't know. I think it kind of, Jack, is going to come down to Trout. Brian, maybe they will do this. Look, in the NBA, I know that the play-in tournament isn't technically playoffs, but in the NBA, in my mind, basically 20 teams get to make the playoffs out of 30 or 32 or however many teams. I could see MLB doing something weird like that. Totally. Right now, 12 teams make the playoffs, right? You've got the 3 division winners, the 3 wild card winners. I could 100% see them expanding it to a fourth wild card team and then doing, kind of a straight up wild card bracket. I could absolutely see them doing something like that. Look, 20 out of 30 or 20 out of 32 teams, right, in the NBA makes the playoffs. I would 100% see MLB down the road adding in a 13th and a 14th team. And then you have kind of a traditional bracket in the wild card round. You go, 2 and 2, and then you have kind of a wild card championship to advance to the playoffs. It's not going to surprise me because playoffs are all about money. It's all about money. Look, you add in another team, everybody gets more money. It dilutes the regular season a little bit, but it's just not going to shock me if they go fourth wild card team and then they do kind of a bracket in the wild card. You seed 1 versus 4, the first wild card team versus the fourth. You play 2-3, you play kind of a championship, and then you start the playoffs. It would not surprise me in the least bit if they did that. Keep going. Yeah, NFL, not bad. NFL, definitely not bad. Rocker or lighter? Right now, I feel like both have electric stuff. I feel like both are kind of in the same place. It's hard for me to even pick one. It feels like rocker and lighter are on very similar paths right now. Electric stuff. I would probably lean, and I know this is crazy, I would probably lean rocker a little bit. It feels like rocker knows how to put away hitters. Feels like Jack just needs to figure that component of his game out. Putting away hitters, man. It just hasn't gone well for Jack over the past month. I would love to see him get better at that. Keep going. Aaron, appreciate the follow, man. Thank you so much. Whew. Yeah, Berger is definitely deceptively fast. Like, this dude is deceptively quick for his size. Yeah, you wonder, Brian. I think 27 is going to be really interesting. 27 is when the CBA is up between the players and the owners. I just wonder if you're going to get some very interesting things coming out of that back and forth, that new CBA in 2027. We'll see what we'll see what happens. Yeah, look, there's definitely some changes that you could make, I think, to divisions, even the playoffs. I think you could tweak a little bit. I'm going to be really curious what happens down the stretch. Yeah, Pickle Juice Rocker is on one. Like, seriously on one. That is no lie at all. No lie at all. Hey, real quick, we're going to wrap up the show here. We're going to do a quick preview. On YouTube, have you guys gotten any ads or anything during the live? Let me know if you've gotten any ads or not. I'm just kind of curious on this. Have you guys had to deal with any, like, skippable ads or anything during the live? Okay. Are they long or are they real short? Are they like the 5-second ones or do they hit you like with the 30-second ones? Just let me know. Okay, cool. Okay, Jack, thank you, man. Guys, I just want to be real with you. I did finally hit that spot on YouTube, and I'm getting close on TikTok where I got fully monetized. Big thank you to you guys, by the way. And a part of that is they do put ads on some of my lives. I try to select the ones that are like the 5-second skippable. So I hope that they're not too annoying. I appreciate you guys dealing with it. Obviously, it's an opportunity for me to make a little bit on the side here as I continue to grow this channel more and more. So I appreciate you dealing with it, hoping it wasn't anything too intrusive or annoying. So, hey, thank you, guys. I appreciate you being patient with it. Jack, I'm trying, man. You guys are a big part of it. Seriously, the support you guys give to the channel is so huge. Big shout out to all of my paid members, subscribers, all my longtime followers as well. There's a lot of y'all in here that have been with me since the beginning of last year. And just know I don't take any support for granted. Likes, shares, the follows, the watch time. Like, seriously, it means a lot to me. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. A couple of things just to throw your guys away. If you are ever thinking about how you can support me a little bit more here at the show, know that there is an option, $2.99 a month to subscribe. If you're on TikTok, it's right next to the chat. We'll get you into our exclusive Ride on Rangers Discord. We'll get you some priority as well in replies on the lives and in the comments as the show gets bigger and bigger. Be awesome. If you're on YouTube, I will drop the link in the chat for you guys as well. If you're interested, copy and paste that into a browser of your choice. Totally optional, but again, you're looking to take your support to the next level. You want to support what I'm doing here, Ride on Rangers, and the content that I create, consider a subscription. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for hanging. And let's preview this game tomorrow, and then we're going to call it a night. We've been going long enough here. So tomorrow's game, Nate Eovaldi on the mound. Looking forward to seeing Nate cook, hopefully against a team that he's pitched well against in the past. Hasn't been like total domination, but he's turned out some good outings against the Angels. And look, it's good to have a guy like Nate on the mound after a loss like tonight. Gives you confidence the Rangers will be able to get back on track. Now, Nate, 5-3, 175 ERA. Going up against Soriano, 6-5 with a 3.72 ERA. So Soriano, not bad. But you look at Nate's numbers against the Angels. Adele, 1-for-3. Campero, 0-for-3. Nato, 0-for-3. Newman, 0-for-1. Rengifo, 1-for-10. Are you seeing a theme here? Soler, 0-for-4. Mike Trout, I think 7-for-24. So not bad. Not bad. You got Wade Jr., 1-for-2. Ward is, I believe, 3-for-14. And Darno is, I want to say, 4-for-15. Look, the highest batting average is Wade Jr., who's 1-for-2 against Eovaldi. There's nobody else. Adele is 1-for-3. Nobody else has a batting average over 300. ZG, appreciate the gifts, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jesse, Evo was a snub, but I don't think he played enough games. But I wonder if he becomes kind of a reserve type if somebody backs out. But honestly, Evo, I think, is going to pitch on Sunday, so I don't even think he's going to be eligible to pitch in the All-Star game anyways. Aaron, appreciate it, man. Thanks for hanging out, man. 100% there was a snub, though. We should sell some. I think we are going to, Rick. If I had to guess, we're going to sell a little bit. I don't think it's going to be a fire sale, but I think we will do a little bit of selling. Like, I think Corbin might be a guy that goes. Some of the bullpen pieces might go. Not going to shock me in the least bit. On the other side, Rangers against Soriano. Berger, 1-for-3. Carter, 0-for-3. Doley, 1-for-5. Jonah Heim, 1-for-6. Higashioka, 1-for-1. Corey Seager, 4-for-5 with a bomb. Hello. Hopefully Sieg stays hot. Marcus Semien, 2-for-7 against Soriano, the Angels' probable starter for tomorrow. Josh Smith, 1-for-3. So you basically got Corey Seager, and you've got a couple other guys. Marcus Semien, some good ABs, but small sample size. Good opportunity for the Rangers to get back on track, and hopefully they can do it. I don't think Josh Young has played yet in Round Rock. And by the way, with all of the flooding going on in Central Texas, right, in the Hill Country, Round Rock hasn't been playing the last couple of nights. So, by the way, thoughts and prayers to everyone affected by the flooding going on in Texas right now. I thought it was really cool that the Rangers donated $1 million. I think the Astros did as well. I was joking with the Discord guys. The Astros announced the $1 million first. Could we not have come in at $2 million just in the spirit of generosity and friendly competition with the Stros? Could we not have come in with $2 million? Look, $1 million from each organization is very generous, but I'm just saying it could have been a cool opportunity to one up the Stros. I think it would have been fun, generous, again, friendly competition. I don't know, but the fact that each of them coming together, $2 million combined, that's awesome. Nobody played today in AAA. Everybody was off. And, yeah, Round Rock got rained out. So tomorrow, I believe Round Rock, are they playing? Yeah, they're playing at home against Albuquerque. So we'll see. Josh Young has not taken an AB for Round Rock yet. They gave him like a couple of days to kind of adjust and reset. And then by the time I think he was ready to go, There were a bunch of rainouts because of all the insane flooding. So, no, I don't think he has taken any ABs, and his first one would expect it, I think, to be tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Yeah, 1.1 million. That would have been hilarious. Astros give 1 million, we give 1.1 just because. Oh, man. We keep going. I hope, JBJ, I hope you're right on this one. I surely hope it's 7 scoreless, man. Look, if we go 0-2 with deGrom and Evo, that is going to be deflating as I'll get out, man. I will still keep on keeping on, but 0-2, throwing Evo and deGrom back-to-back days would hurt. It would really hurt. All right, y'all. We're going to end this. It's been fun. We're going to go get some rest, recover, flush this one out. Probably get a video your way at some point. It's been a while since I did a short. We've taken some vacation time. It was good to get some R&R with the family, taking a couple baseball games, but we're ready to get back on the grind. It was a fun show tonight. Tomorrow, hopefully, will be a better result for our boys in red, white, and blue. Again, video out, short, reel, out for you guys tomorrow. Don't know the content yet. We're going to have to stew on it a little bit, but we'll give you guys something good. And then we'll be back tomorrow night, another late night. It'll be late night every night this week. Friday, we'll be back to kind of a normal time, but it'll be late night. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. West Coast baseball, baby. All right, y'all. Appreciate everybody that gave a gift on the show today, ZG. And look, everybody else means a lot. Thank you so much, man. It's very generous of you guys. All the ways that you guys support the show. Locke, appreciate you as well. Thank you for the gifts. And all you guys who have been watching, regardless of outcome, rain or shine, right? The diehards, the OGs, man, the real ones. I appreciate you. And I surely hope tomorrow, new day, better result, Rangers win. We're speaking it into existence. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. And Jack, yes, sir, as I always say to end every show, God bless. And go Rangers.